Hello everyone, it is Susan here and welcome to my channel. So today is my crafty chit chat and slow stitching video, and we are going to work on the second block for my next wall hanging. It's going to be a small wall hanging, probably, well, a little bit more than a 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches, and it's going to consist of blocks this size, which are 2.5 inch-ish squares around there. So this was the first one, and I'm incorporating stamping in on every single one of these blocks. I've used this so far for background stamp, and I think I'm going to use probably almost all of the stamps from this Stampin' Up set. So, yep. So I already have torn, well, I have this. So this is the, the base of my next block. And I want to do the blocks a little differently from one another, but yeah, so, but of course it needs to be cohesive. So one of the things that I thought could make it cohesive is sticking with more of like autumnal colors, right? So I'm thinking of using these like beautiful like burnt orange color on this next flower. And I also think I'm going to be working on possibly like a butterfly, like maybe a couple little different things as well. But for now, I'm going to work on this right here. So I tore this out of a bigger piece of fabric, and I love it. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with the stamped flower. Now, this flower did come from this set, so that's the flower right there. And so now I'm going to use that as a pattern. So I did want to mention a thank you to Julie Rose, because I think that she also helped to inspire this, because she had emailed me a project she was working on, and I loved it, and I looked into it a little bit, and it was like, I don't know, I feel like it's too big for me because I don't stick to things that long. I like quick things. So that's kind of a way my thought process went to using stamps to create a pattern or some additional interest with the background stamps. So let me zoom in just a tad. I don't want to get too close. Alrighty, so now when I tore this out, I was like, well, first I was going to cut it and then sew the flower on here. But I love this background fabric so much that I'm gonna leave it as a whole piece. And then when I put this onto this, I'm like, it's almost the same size. So in reality, I probably don't even need this, but I do think I'm going to use it. I like that it brings more of the fraying. Yeah, so as of this second, I will end up sewing these two pieces together. Yeah, I don't know, I don't know. We'll see. But for today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on this. And my thought was that, well, these are two totally different things. So this is a yarn and this is pearl thread, but the colors are almost identical. So I know what I wanted to do with this as I sew. So I'm going to just basically sew around the petals of the flowers. I was thinking of doing a chain stitch. I don't know, we'll see. In the middle, I want to do the turkey stitch. And then for these, I was thinking of doing a pistol stitch for each one of these. So that's my thought process. And I want to use the yarn for the turkey stitch in the middle. So I wanted to use this for the petals. Now I'm not going to be, you know, filling in these petals, not on this one anyway. Maybe on another flower I will, but not on this one. And so now I'm kind of looking at this. I don't know if this pearl thread is going to be heavy enough to cover up that stamped image. I don't know, we'll see. And not that it has to cover it fully, but so I'm just gonna start and let's kind of see what happens here. So if I just do a straight stitch, I think it might work, but would it be fun to do a chain stitch? All right, so let's try this. So I know it has to go like that. So this, oh, that's why. Okay, all right, I think I remember. Yeah, because it would be like the daisy stitch. So it would go like that. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, gosh. All right, I think I need to speed it up a little bit if I'm gonna do this all in one video. Oh my goodness. All right. Am I doing it? Yeah, it's working. It's working. Okay, so that's how you do the chain stitch. Oh gosh. Oh, I have to remember to keep this thread on above, or actually underneath the needle. So I'll do I'll do one slowly so you can see. So I'm actually going back in basically where I just came out. I'm going back down, and then I'm going to come out here, making sure that this thread is under my needle, because that's going to create that loop. Yeah, you know what? I like this. I think that this is a good choice. But I am not going to make you watch the whole thing because, whoops, yeah, let me see here. So I think what I'll do is, let me work on this for a few minutes and then I will come right back. Okay, let's go ahead and work on this last petal together. And so let me tell you about my week. I mean, it really was, like during the week, it was pretty uneventful, which is unusual for me. I mean, I did meet with a group of crafty friends. Well, today's Sunday. I was supposed to make this video yesterday, but I'm making it on today on Sunday. And I was supposed to make it yesterday on Saturday, but I never got to it. But yesterday I met with a group of friends, crafty friends, and that was, of course, awesome. But besides that, I haven't been doing, something's wrong here. Let me put in an extra stitch right here. That's not quite the way I want it, but that's okay. So, nope. I just undid a stitch. So anyway, but besides that, like during the week of last week, I don't know. It was a fairly quiet week. I mean, I almost never have nothing on my calendar during the week. And that doesn't mean I don't do things like, I'm doing laundry, I'm doing grocery shopping, I'm, doing that kind of stuff. But there was nothing major going on. Well, I am working on one thing for my parents, as far as their insurance goes. So that was big, and that took several hours of my week. But I did all of that from home, and it wasn't awful. I'm learning more when it comes to the kind of insurance that they have now, and it was a little stressful because I'm learning about it. But I managed, and so I'm in a pretty good spot with that. And I think I'm going to continue with this same thread to do those pistol stitches. I'm going to do those next. And, but like besides that, it was a pretty quiet week. And it was actually kind of nice. I did a lot of reading. I took out some flowers from my garden that weren't doing well, so I took those out. So my garden, well, I'll tell you about that in a second. So a pistol stitch is like a French knot, except you're leaving a longer. So like instead of me going round and round and round and leaving it all basically in one spot, I'm going to have a little bit of just a strand of this, and then my French knot is going to be up towards the end. So let me show you. So I'm going to go up just a little bit. I'll go around, I'll do 3 times, and I'm going to go back down, and that's the pistol stitch. So, and this is a short pistol stitch. So usually they're longer, but you can see that there's a strand and then there's the French knot. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this off, and then I'll do it for the rest of those. So what was I telling you that I said? Oh, my garden. So my sunflowers are blooming like crazy, and they're looking amazing, and I have several different kinds, all different colors, all different sizes, and come on, not for me. And I love them. The only thing I don't like about sunflowers, which I'm finding out because I've never grown them before, is that the flower does not last super long. I don't even know if it's 2 weeks that the flower lasts. So that's the only weird thing. I mean, and then because I want to get the seeds out of them, I have to basically let them dry on the plant to where the head of the flower really turns yellow and brown, and yeah. Otherwise, it's going to, like the sunflowers inside, like they're not going to come out easy. And I mean, I've never done it, so I'm just going by videos that I've watched. But I do want the seeds to plant next year. Also, I want to see if my parrot will eat them, because he eats sunflower seeds, so I don't see why he wouldn't eat those. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I'll give it a try with him, because that could help with the cost of parrot food, because, well, like everything else, it's gone up, well, almost triple. Well, actually, it went up triple with the food that I was buying for him. But then I found another, it's even the same brand, but there's something different about it. The packaging is different, and the color of the pack, yeah, it's just different. But so I found that parrot food, which I bought just one bag for the first try, to make sure, to see what it looks like, to make sure he'll eat it and he's okay with it. And it was fine. So I don't really know what the difference is between the two, but there is about a $5 difference. And he goes through a bag of that food. I mean, it's only, I think it's 4 pounds. It's not huge. I'm going to say I don't even know, every 5 weeks or so. So anyway, so if I can supplement it with sunflower seeds from my garden, that's only going to help, right? So I want to try that. And I don't know that I would eat any of them. I suppose I could, but that's not my goal. I mean, I don't really eat sunflower seeds. I mean, I suppose maybe I could, but that's not my goal. So, oh, look at how cute that is starting to look. Oh my goodness. I love it. So far, I have let me make sure I'm in camera. Okay. Yeah, so I have the chain stitch, and I just did the pistol stitch, and now we're going to do the turkey stitch in the middle. And then that's going to be it for this flower. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this green yarn, put that to the side, and let's use this. Now, a turkey stitch, what it is, it's kind of, I want to say it's weird. But it's, well, let me show you. So I guess I'll just start in the middle. All it is a bunch of loops. And you can make the loops as big or as small as you want them. I don't need them big for this because it's not a big project. But what's going to happen is I'm going to have a bunch of these loops, so I'm just going to keep sewing them. So when I go back down, I just go down just a little bit further away from where I came up from the back of the fabric. And then what happens is you actually cut these, and it ends up almost like a little pom-pom. So you can make it as thick as you want, or, fluffy, I guess you could say, as you want, or not. And there's times where I've done this stitch where I don't even cut it. I just leave it like that. But I think on this one I am going to cut it. So I'm going to put just a few more stitches going up around here. And I don't need it super thick, but the fact that I left it double strands, I'm hoping will help it be a little bit thicker. So you can see what it's looking like. So let's put in a few more stitches over here. But yeah, my tomatoes, so I think last week I mentioned I'm going to have 100 tomatoes on each plant. Some plants I will have less, but my big and most successful tomato plant, I will have over 200 tomatoes on that from that plant. And I know that because I counted. And so they have, like, tomatoes grow in sets, right? So a set is where there's like a little like bit of a stem, and then the tomatoes grow off of that, and that's called a set. I don't know if all tomatoes grow like that, but the ones I'm growing are. And so there's over, and it's still growing. It's still getting new sets on it, new tomatoes, but there's over 20 sets right now. And each set has 10 to 12 tomatoes on them. So, I mean, just do the math, right? So it's going to be over 200 tomatoes. So that's crazy to me, but this plant is a monster in a good way. I'm just kind of looking at this. I think I'll put one more over here. I just want to fill it in enough to where it will be thick enough when I go and cut these. So yeah, this tomato plant, it was one where, and it's odd, it was a plant that wasn't even meant to be, if that makes sense. It was an extra tomato plant that I had in one of my containers. And I dug it out, thinking, oh, well, I'll see if it will survive. And I put it over in one of my raised beds. And oh my gosh, I mean, it is my most successful tomato plant. And it's a plant that I didn't even, it was just kind of like, oh, I'll just put it over here and see what happens. Well, this plant, if I let it just go, see, because I have to tie up all, because it like has these arms that reach out, right? And so I have to tie them up. Otherwise, those arms are so long, they're just too heavy. And so I put in like spikes, like tall spikes, and and I tie them up so that there's some sort of support, especially with all the rain we were having and all the wind that we get. And, I have to help support them. So if I didn't have those on there, the diameter of that plant would easily be 9 feet in diameter, 9 feet in any direction, at least. And it's still growing. It is a monster. I should call it my octopus tomato plant, because that's what it reminds me of that. But gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous tomatoes on it. Every day I'm harvesting a bunch of tomatoes from all of my plants. So now I know I can grow a tomato. Who knew? All right, so what I'm going to do, so see, I could leave it just like that because that is super cute, right? But I'm not going to. So what you do is you come in and you actually snip each of the loops. And then what you can do is sometimes it actually almost needs like a haircut, because sometimes it can be too long, or one side is longer than the other, or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and snip these, and then we'll see if it needs a haircut or not. All right, so yeah, I think it does need a little bit of a haircut because to me, they're too long. So I'm just gonna trim just a little bit off. Thank goodness I used to have my beautician's license, huh? That was like 29 lifetimes ago. I did that when I was in high school, actually. I went to cosmetology every afternoon in my junior and senior year in high school. Yep, so I would go to my, English, gym, math, like my regular classes that you had to take to graduate in my high school, and then I would take a bus or a friend would drive to a vocational school. And yep, and that's how I got my license, my cosmetology license. So, okay, I'm loving it. So now these are my first two. Very different, right? Very different. I like it. So now I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do next. I do have this already stamped, so maybe I'll do this next. And I have to tell you, I really, really, really like when it comes time to sew these onto a background, I like these together, right? So, and when I do this, the leaves, well, I'll figure out what yarns I'm going to use and what I'm going to do. But like I said, I want to maybe stay with more autumnal colors. So maybe this like more evergreenish color. Is there a name on here? No. So something like that. And like that, maybe I'll use those two, which is very similar to what I used here, except here I used yarn. So here I might use I can hear my neighbor's dog barking, my cousin's dog. I'll use the pearl thread. So that's my thinking for right now. So, all right, so we got two done. And, if you wanted to join me in this loose collaboration, which I have a hashtag, which is Stitch and Sew. No, Stamp and Sew. I don't even know my own hashtag. Stamp and Sew. I do know of a couple people that might be using it, so go ahead and click on my hashtag and you'll see what others are doing as well. And if you want to join in, just join in and use hashtag Stamp and Sew and spell out the word and. Don't use the ampersand. Okay, that's it for today. All right, have a blessed week, everybody, and I will see you next Monday, and I think we will probably work on this. Okay, have a good one. God bless. Bye-bye.